want to jump, I'll let you jump. So the policeman says, okay, I'll start. He said, what about your family? And he goes into depth about his family. He goes in, he says, what about your children? He goes into depth about his children. He goes, what about your future? What about potential? He's listing all these things, and his 3 minutes comes up, and he goes, okay, your turn. And the man says, I got to tell you, you'll never understand, but I've lost my job. My faith is frail. My friends have forsaken me. My children disrespect me. And on he went. And so the policeman, after this 3 minutes of both of them are up, he reaches his hand over to this man, and this man begins to reach back. Then he grabs the policeman's hand, and they jump together. Because when you lack faith, people will jump with you. See, when I think about this passage of Scripture in the book of Hebrews, that's exactly what he's writing. Is that if you start to read around it, what you find out is this, is that you had some people who were on the verge of quitting. Listen to me today. There were some people who were ready to quit on the faith of the gospel of Jesus Christ. You had people who were wanting to go back to the world in Hebrews. You had some people that didn't think this Christian thing was working out. And by the way, some of us live, we don't think it's working out. And they just didn't think it was worth it. And I started to think, okay, but why is it that they didn't think it was worth it? Well, if you read again the book of Hebrews, what you find, there were some prayers that they felt like were unanswered. So they begin to lack faith because they go, well, God ain't answering the prayers that I want. Here's the problem with that. Let me say this to you. Some of you may be on the verge of not having faith or quitting because of this. Because you need to get your way in your prayers. Yeah. But then they had unfulfilled dreams. They had one idea and God had another. Things in life that they thought God was going to deal with, He didn't take care of them the way that they thought He should be taken care of. And so they were ready to quit. Go back to Hebrews chapter 10 and look at this for a minute. Verse 35. It says, cast not away, therefore, your confidence, which hath great recompense of reward. For you have need of patience. Well, I don't know about you, but I hate that word. That after you have done the will of God. Now, I want you to notice this part is critical. He says that after you have done the will of God, listen to me, don't expect the promises of God without you doing the will of God. Because sometimes we want the promises without the faith. He says you might receive the promise. Again, you need to hear that part. You don't get the promise until you do the will of God. He says, for yet a little while, and He shall come, will come, and will not tarry. Now the just, don't miss this, the just or the righteous shall live by faith. But if any man draw back, my soul shall not have pleasure. So in other words, if you choose as a righteous person, anyone who's been born again is considered the righteous because of the blood of Jesus. He said, if you choose not to live, in faith, then He'll draw back. But we are not of them who draw back unto perdition or sin or old ways, but of them that believe to the saving of the soul. So what he's saying is this. I'm writing you in Hebrews, right, to tell you this. That I don't want you to quit yet. I don't want you to throw in the towel. Listen, if you're on the verge of quitting, Christ is saying, don't throw in the towel yet. Don't quit yet. Don't do it. And then He says something that I think we better catch today. He says, but the just shall live by faith. The righteous shall live by faith. Whatever faith is, and we're going to talk about in a minute, is supposed to be a lifestyle, not an event. Faith isn't something I do from time to time. It should be just who I am. The righteous shall live by faith. In other words, now hear this. Faith is how you should flow. It should be your normal. Faith is not just some concept. Faith is a lifestyle. But he says, because the righteous shall live by faith, or the just shall live by faith. Notice this. So if you're not living by faith, does that mean you're not yet righteous? Because if the just shall live by faith, if I choose not to have faith, then am I really righteous? Because that's how righteous people live. They live by faith. The righteous who have learned to live by faith, whatever that is, they get to experience God in action. You get to experience God fulfilling His word when you live by faith. But you will miss it if you don't live by faith. You have to ask the question, am I living by faith? Because look, if I live by faith, then I'm going to experience God in my circumstances. And I'm telling you something. Listen, me and my mother-in-law, we have this talk quite often about faith. Because you want me to tell you something. One thing, we love each other, and we don't always get along. And yes, I cook her daughter, and she still hates me for it. It's fine. But I got to tell you something. One thing about it is this. You want me to tell you something I agree with her on is this. She says a lot of people don't experience God, and a lot of people don't experience the miracles today like we used to. Here's one word. Why? Because it's a lack of faith. How do you expect to see God work in your circumstances when there's not faith there? Look at this number one. It brings up a question. What is faith and how does it work? Go to verse 1 again. What is faith and how does it work? Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So, in order for faith to be faith as God defines faith, it must have substance. It involves things and stuff. Again, let me say this to you. Faith is not a fairy tale. It is not something in outer space, right? It is being sure of or having the assurance. That's what the word means. The substance. It's having the assurance that's what's hoped for is already accomplished. In other words, faith is believing something before it's already done. I have the faith to take God at His word. I trust Him. It's the evidence of things you've not seen. So faith deals with things that are real, but yet haven't penetrated your five senses and my five senses because you haven't yet seen it. So hope is the expectation of the future. Hope is an expectation in which you are convinced, convicted, or confident in this thing, that even though this thing hasn't happened yet. So faith then must have substance. It must have some stuff that can rely on. But let me say this, and I want you to catch this. What this means is faith is only as meaningful as the substance to which it's attached. If you have faith in a bad substance, in the wrong stuff, then your faith will be insufficient no matter how much faith you have. But if the substance that you're placing your faith in is sufficient, then let me tell you, you're going to have great results. So your faith is dependent on who your faith is in, what your faith is in, who it's attached to. Can I ask you something? Listen to me here. What does that say about your faith in God? What does it say when we say God can't restore? What does it say when we say God can't heal? What does it say when I don't have enough money to do these things? What does it say when we worry ourselves to death? What does it say? It says this, that the thing that I claim to put my faith in isn't enough. I was joking about this morning, but if your child was losing their tooth, what do? What does a kid do? We used to do this with our kids. Right? You call me a sinner afterwards, but you say, hey, you go, and when you lose that tooth, amen, coincidentally, okay, so you lose your tooth, what do? You put it under the pillow, and we tell our kids, the tooth fairies come. Mom and Dad. But listen to what I'm getting to. So if your child, when losing a tooth, places their faith in the tooth fairy to put some money under their pillow, I hate to break this to you, but they're placing their faith in something that isn't a reality. Mm-hmm. And so it would be better for them to place their faith in Mom and Dad because that's substance. You better listen today. Because if they put their faith in the tooth fairy and Mom and Dad do nothing, they're going to be disappointed in their faith because there will be no substance. Faith has to do with an expectation and a hope that must involve a substance. So the amount of your faith, again, is not tied to how much faith you have. I hear people say this all the time. I got a lot of faith. Well, it depends on the situation, doesn't it then? Mm-hmm. Because if you had a lot of faith, you'd have it in the storm, and you'd have it on the mountaintop, and you'd have it in the valley. Faith isn't based off of your situation. Faith is based off of the substance, the thing, the person, Christ. Because what makes faith, faith is the substance to which it's attached. If you want to grow your faith, you don't go faith grow hunting, you get a better substance. The surer the substance, the more solid the faith. So Deanna and I were going to Israel. Someone blessed us, sent us to Israel. Boy, that'd be a good blessing again, guys. I mean, I'm not hitting it anything, I'm just saying. You guys are welcome to go with us. So to get to Israel, you fly from Tampa to New York. By the way, that airport's the devil. All right? The New York one. And so we fly from Tampa to New York in a regular plane. 14 hours sitting solid in a plane to get to Israel. Now, I don't know about a couple hours in the plane, it's more like 14 hours. We get to New York, and the schedule changes, and the people say to us, they say, you guys are going to fly across that ocean, across all these countries that hate you Americans, to land in Israel, and we're putting you in a twin-engine plane. A little tiny plane.
No, you're not.
Deanna says this, I'm not going. I say, what? Don't you have faith? And she goes, no, we don't have a big enough plane. Listen, the schedule then changes again. And they say, you're getting the big plane back. And Deanna goes, I'm going. And I said, is your faith grow? She said, no, the plane grew. And that's not totally a true story, but let me tell you something. If it were a totally true story, let me explain. That's exactly how faith works. If your substance is little, if your God is little, you'll fret. But if your God is big, see, it's what you're believing. It's the substance. The size of our faith is directly related to the size of our substance. Faith is related to the substance which it's attached. You know, I think about this. We do this every day in real life with people. There are some people in your life, if you're being honest, you don't believe. You believe they exist, but you don't believe anything they say. And they tell you something and you wouldn't do much with it because the substance that it came from wasn't worthy of your confidence. And other people, you'll do whatever they tell you. And the reason why is because you believe that the person that told you that is worthy of your faith. So to understand faith, you have to look at the substance of things hoped for what the object is. But I want to make this clear, and I started to mention this Wednesday night because I wanted to preach on Wednesday, Sunday's message. Faith is not necessarily how you feel. Please mark this and make note of this, because I want you to be clear on this. Faith is not necessarily how you feel, because you can feel faithless and be full of faith. And you can feel full of faith and be faithless, because faith is not first and foremost a feeling. Emotions do not have intellect. Emotions don't think. They are just how you feel, and feelings shift based on the information received. Can I ask you to help me with this morning? How many of you came in here this morning and you could use some extra money? Raise your hand nice and high. I'm here. Raise your hand nice and high. I could use some extra money. This is not time for infomercials. I love her. So you came in this morning and you had some financial need. And you're depressed and you're discouraged because you have so many bills and you're struggling. And I say, meet me after church. I bring out a checkbook. I write you a legitimate $100,000 check. Uh-oh. Does your feeling immediately change? Yes or no? Well, anyways, you can go back to how you were feeling when you first walked in. But I got to tell you something. Because here's why. Listen, how you feel. Listen to me, please. Listen, we're almost there. How you feel will change because of the information received. When the doctor speaks, your feelings change. Let me ask you this question. Does your faith? You see, the content will affect your feelings. I think about going to Old Town. You ever been to Old Town in Orlando area? Yeah, Orlando, Kissimmee area, right? Okay, and there's this little store there. The little haunted house thing. So my kids, they think they're real tough guys. They all want to go. I'm going to just tell you something straight up. I ain't going to haunted houses. Because here's the thing. Even though I know their faith before I go there, it scares me. The guy's standing there, and you know what I'm talking about. You've ever been to Old Town. You're walking the street. You always want to take some. I don't even walk on that side of the street, and I'm not kidding you. I'm not brave enough. The last time we went there for a wrestling tournament this summer, we went over there, we stayed right by it. The kids are over there, they're like, oh, I'm going to walk across the street. All of them. These are wrestlers. These are supposed to be men. They won't even walk across the street to see this guy. You know he's fake. You know he's not a monster. You know he's not the devil. You know it's fake blood, but they made him look so real. He does stupid little things. Like they're like, my son Jack's going, he looks so real. This is so real. And they're doing all this stuff. He's over here going, I'm not going. The other kid, then little Johnny Casares, he's all 4'11". He's like, they're terrified because they're so right, and they're like. And then we went to when Mikey the night before he was married, we were supposed to go to this little, go to Old Town, just walk the street. They want to go, and he's like, I'm not going. Because let me tell you something right now, and I'm not kidding you. Come blowing up on my neck. Come on, some whispering, some scary noise in my ear. I might just deck you. I don't care if you're fake or not. You scare me. Listen to the message. So they make this stuff scary. It's like watching a scary movie. Don't act like you ain't never. You're watching it, and the technology's so sophisticated now, and you ain't doing it right. Or these kids pull up this thing on their phone and say, "Watch this," and it's supposed to be a funny video, and then all of a sudden somebody's space pops great. And some of you just jumped out, and I'm trying to look scary. And you freak out over this thing, right? And even though it's not real, listen to me, we're talking about faith. Even though it's not real, right? It's still scary. You scream. You screech. You're looking around the corners when you go home after this. Even though you know it isn't real. See, it's not real, but listen to me carefully. You treat it like it's real. Even though the substance of it is not, because the emotions have become the dictator. What scares me about faith is this, that a lot of Christians are allowing their emotions to dictate their faith instead of Christ dictate their faith. Emotions are real, but they're the caboose, not the engine. Emotions are like shifting cargo in the back of the truck. The cargo doesn't do the steering, those steering wheel guys. The cargo doesn't dictate the truck. Faith is tied to the substance that is not yet seen or experienced, but you're convinced it's real based on the integrity of the subject. Who is the subject? It's God. And this message, I really believe, is one of the most important messages I believe you'll ever hear, because let's look at this verse a little bit further. Verse 6. He says, but without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is the rewarder of them that diligently seek him. But notice this part. But without faith it is impossible to please him. Anytime you lack faith, you displease God. Faith is not one of the things you need. It's the key thing you need if you ever want to experience God. Because he says without faith, it's displeasing God. So anyone here who don't roll with faith, they're living a life of displeasing God. And you may say, well, why is God getting so upset about whether I have faith or not? Because when you don't exercise faith, listen to me carefully, you are challenging God's integrity. Why does he say it's such a big deal? Why is this faith thing so important? Because without faith, you can't believe in Jesus Christ. Without faith, you don't believe he went to the cross. Without faith, you don't believe he rose from the dead. Without faith, you don't believe in miracles. Without faith, you don't believe he can restore a marriage. Without faith, you don't believe you'll have enough money. Without faith, nothing moves. And when we lack faith, you can take this or leave it, but But you are saying, God, you're not a God of integrity. You're a liar. I don't trust you. I don't trust you with my money. I don't trust you with my marriage. I don't trust you with my health. I don't trust you with my kids. I don't trust you with this job. I don't trust you with this situation. God, you are a liar. And every time that you leave faith out of it, you say, God, you don't know what you're talking about. You are in error. And no one here would verbally say it, but when God says something and you don't operate in faith, you challenge his integrity. You call him a liar. How do you feel when you know you've told the truth and someone says you're lying? It kills you. Because they question your integrity. But God, who gave his son Jesus Christ, said, I promise you I'll sustain you. I promise you I went to the cross. I gave my son for you. I bled on the cross for you. I raised from the dead for you. I'm going to supply all your needs according to my riches and glory. I'm the healer of the body. I'm the healer of the soul. And we sit back and go, you're a liar. We have a culture of Christians who live a lifestyle of insulting God's integrity. Because every day they get up and they say, God, you're a liar, you're a liar. I don't believe, God, that you're a person of integrity, so I'll take care of this situation myself. Without faith, you've challenged the integrity of God. Now you know why faith is such a big deal. Why it displeases him when we don't act. You know, I really am convinced of this, and the more I listen to Christians talk, that many people see God's not yet a reality. They say, I'm a Christian, but God's not yet a real reality in their lives. He's a concept in their mind. In other words, for many of us, who God is and what God says is just an idea in our minds that hasn't yet graduated to become concrete. I had someone tell me this week that someone who's been in the faith for a long time, someone who's walked this out a long time, say to me this and that. Well, the Bible is great. The Bible has so many different concepts. You believe it one way, I believe it another way. The Bible's not real clear. No, the problem is you're not real clear because my Bible's true and the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. And you know what the difference is? It's faith. It's that you want to be little. You want to stay small. You don't want to grow in your faith because then you become accountable to the Word of God. So therefore, the Word of God is too much for you. You just lack faith. God's not a real concept, and he's just an idea. Tony Evans said this. He said, faith is simply acting like God is telling the truth. He said, it's not a feeling that God is telling the truth. It's believing he's telling the truth. Walking by faith, he said, isn't talking by faith, feeling by faith, thinking by faith. He said, I love this, and I like it in his black voice, by the way. He said, unless it hits your feet, it's not faith. If you want concrete manifestation of God, he said, then what you believe about God must be concrete. God's either good or he isn't. He's either faithful or he isn't. He can either do it or he can't. Think about this new building over here. Boy, I don't know about you. I'm excited to get over there. There's something really cool in this building, and I didn't recognize this until we built this building back here, and I walked in, and the lights turned on. And I never noticed it. And so there's these sensor lights, right? I mean, we're high-tech, man, over here at Fairhaven. I mean, so we might track a few cow patties into our church service, but we have sensor lights, amen? And you walk in there, and get this. You listen, the lights turn on. You walk out, the lights turn on. You know why? Because there's people who are irresponsible, so you had to put those motion detector lights up. Because someone can't do this. Huh? You got to save electricity. That's what you do. Smart idea. You walk in, the lights turn on. You walk out, the lights turn on. Listen to me. There is power in the room. There is lighting in the room. But it won't show itself, listen to me, until there's motion. If there's no movement, it doesn't mean that there's no power. It doesn't mean there's no lighting. It just means there's no motion. There's no movement. You haven't triggered it. Let me say this to you. God is real. And God is powerful. And God gave us promises. But you won't see it until there's some motion. If there's no motion, it just lies dormant there. You know, that faith is acting like it's so, even when it's not so, in order so that it might be so. So because God said so. See, does God have integrity? Well, if he does, then you trust him. Then it's applied to every part of your life. That's point one. Point number two, and it goes faster, I promise. A testimony, believe it or not. Verse 2. For by it the elders obtained a good report. So kind of put 1 and 2 together. You ready? Together. That's good. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And it almost seems odd what he's doing right here. But he goes, for by it the elders obtained a good report. In other words, he says this, verse 2. I'm going to take you on a tour. And I'm going to take you back to some older men. If you read the book of Hebrews chapter 11, it's this book of faith. And he goes back to Old Testament people, and he goes, I want to have these people testify. So, right, you ever heard in the old churches, they'd say this, can I get a witness? Yes. And people would start to testify Jesus. We did it on Sunday nights. We used to do it all the time. We go, can we get a testimony? Somebody testify Jesus. Why? Because what they're doing is this. They're saying, by this person's testimony, it may change someone else's life. You can believe what I'm saying, so listen to testimony. So Ashley comes to me this morning. She goes, I want to do this thing. We went to this women's thing. She goes, it was so powerful. Why? She goes, women were just sharing their testimony. So in order for it to be powerful, you had to believe what they were saying. And the writer of Hebrews, he says, look, I'm going to go talk to some people. I'm going to go talk to Cain and Abel and ask them to give a testimony. I'm going to go talk to Enoch. I'm going to talk to Noah, Abraham, Sarah, and we're going to see if they can get a testimony. And I'm going to try to prove my point, like in court, that this is true, that faith is real faith. And you can have faith in God because he's a good enough substance. So I'm going to introduce you to these people. But something that's awesome, I'm going to introduce you to some people who have been in the fight before and won. I'm going to introduce you to some people that failed, but they're still full of faith. The truth is, sometimes we don't believe the testimony. I said this morning, but we choose not to believe the testimonies of these people's lives, but sometimes we pick and choose when we believe. Please hear me on this. We pick and choose when to believe God. I'm telling you that there are Christians in this room that do it. We believe God on the things we like, and we disregard God on the things we don't like. If I bring up tithing, it is offensive to people, even though it's a biblical concept. And by the way, it works by faith. But when you don't do it, it's because you don't like that part of the Bible. So what you do is you don't have faith enough to believe him with your money, but you believe him enough to bring your son back to Jesus Christ. You believe him enough to heal cancer, maybe. So we pick and choose. It's like we're not living by faith, we're cherry picking by faith. But the just or the righteous shall live by faith. This is what they do. Faith is the rule regardless of how they feel. The 3 Hebrew boys, right? They said, we trust God can deliver us. Even if he doesn't, we won't bow down. Why? Because we trust God. In the last chapter, our last few verses of chapter 3 of Habakkuk, it says this. It says, though there's no figs on the tree, no cattle in the stall, I can't see anything, I'll still rejoice because I still know God. And even though I can't see a change in my situation, I'm still going to worship God because he's a God of integrity. I believe the testimony. But then I'm looking at this chapter 11, and right when we get down to verse 4, he starts naming names. Verse 5, he starts naming names. And at the beginning of every one of those, bring your Bibles to church. It says, by faith, verse 4. Verse 5, by faith, by faith, by faith, verse 7, 8, 9. And he keeps going through it. He says, by faith, he's trying to drive home the point of how important faith is. And he starts using these people as the testimony, and he starts doing this. But here's the thing that gets me about this list. You ready? This is great stuff right here. Listen to me. This list is weird. Don't fall asleep. Pay attention to it. If you were making this list, I'm convinced you and I would have put some of these people on the list. These are the people of faith. We've got a prostitute on the list. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't look at a prostitute, a whore, and go, oh, she's full of faith. But Jesus seen her dead. He's got a liar on the list. He's got a murderer on the list. He's got a passive man on the list. He's got a lady that laughed in the face of God on the list. There are some messed up people on the list. This is the good news. Some of you came in here just destroyed. Some of you came in here and you are not having hope. You've come in here as a spiritual failure. And here's the cool thing about it, that if you start living by faith, you can make the list. Because messed up people make God's list. There's hope if we live by faith. Some of us in this room, realistically, we got to stop faking. We got to stop playing church. We got to stop playing religion. We got to stop playing with God's money. We got to stop messing with God's people. We got to get real about faith with Christ. We need to get serious about our faith with Christ. Some of you sit here and you have no desire to be here. Your heart isn't here. You're here because your mama asked you, because your daddy asked you. You figured you better show your face real quick. You're playing games with your faith. You got to start taking your Christianity and your God seriously. Stop calling God a liar. You know, it humors me, and I don't mean this to be mean, but some of us in this room are like, oh, God, give me a better job, give me more money, give me a better relationship, change my circumstances, heal me, all this, bless me, bless me, bless me. In the meantime, we question God's integrity. We don't believe His testimony. He said, these people live by faith. I tell you the story, but you believe their testimony. Third thing and last thing, can a single word make a difference? Verse 3, through faith we understand that the worlds, which is plural, were framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. Can a single word make a difference? He says, to make my point about faith, let me take you all the way back to the beginning. I told you you could have faith. I told you this worked. Now I give you a testimony of people who were royal mess-ups that by faith it changed their lives. Now I'm telling you that one word can change it. Why? Because Genesis 1:1, in the beginning God created the heavens and earth. He said, let there be light. A word can change things. Verse 3 uses the word worlds in the plural tense, the whole universe, not just the earth, the galaxies, the stars, all these things, the moon. All of it was created by someone you can't see, using stuff that you can't see to create a universe that you can see. So the point is that God has operated this way from the start. How did He create it? Verse 3 again, look at this. I want you to catch this. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by, notice this part, the Word of God. That word is rhema in Greek. It means an utterance. It means a spoken